if you want to do science, you believe the null hypothesis until you have a good reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say on this is that while I'm not an encyclopedia or a doctor, and I didn't have time to look anything up, I'm also not convinced by your 45-day claim, because I seem to recall hunger strikes that went on for 70 or more days, but also everybody's a little bit different. I might starve to death in 2 or 3 days, maybe 10, maybe 15. Somebody else might last a whole lot longer. You're talking about people claiming that they haven't eaten for years. I don't know. I mean, I think you could set up a test protocol for that. Certainly, you could take the food budget and spend it on video cameras. I mean, watch it that way. Anyway, we'll move on. Ethan in New Brunswick, how are you?
Very good. Good afternoon, Madam John. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good, how are you?
Very good, very good. I would like to first start out by saying that I am a practicing member of the Roman Catholic Church. And I just like to, I know that you dismiss what you call the myth of theism. Would you consider theism a myth?
Theism?
Yes.
No.
I don't believe in anything supernatural.
No, first of all, theism isn't the belief in just anything supernatural. It's specifically the belief in a God, but I don't know that theism doesn't entail anything other than accepting a God, so I'm not sure that I would consider that a myth. The specific religions that have built up, many, if not most or all of those, I would probably consider myths.
Okay, because I noticed that while you reject theism, that would probably be a better word, reject, rather than, while you reject theism, it seems that you hang on to certain theological principles and other certain principles that aren't very sound, maybe even less sound than theology.
See, you've covered a lot of territory there. What theological beliefs do you think that I'm hanging on to? Because I definitely want to purge those right off the top.
Okay. Well first, it's you have a theological first name.
A theological first name?
Yeah, Matthew.
There's nothing theological. There's nothing necessarily tied to a God belief about having a label attached to you.
Right, but if you have this and you aren't, if you were an admitted atheist, did you ever consider changing your first name?
Admitted atheist? It's not like it's
Like an admitted bank robber or something.
You don't have to put a qualifier on there.
The show.
I'm an atheist. My name is Matthew. The fact that my first name, which is given to me by my parents, has some meaning in some religion is irrelevant to the fact that it's convenient to keep that label, but I am not in any way attaching any theological significance to my first name.
But with the history, it's theological history, wouldn't you feel it's more consistent, logically?
Hang on, I'm gonna hand these out real quick. You keep going. Pass these around for me.
We can ignore that and go on to another topic. As you said,
Ethan, I don't want to just...
If you feel uncomfortable, sir, that's okay.
Ethan, can I finish? I don't want to ignore that and move on. I want to figure out whether or not your point was valid or not, and I would like one of us to acknowledge it, because saying that I'm clinging to theological ideas by pointing to the fact that my first name has some meaning within Christianity seems really absurd to me, because I'm not clinging to the meaning behind my name. I am using the label that was given to me as a matter of convenience.
And you find this convenient still?
Yes, because changing my name is rather inconvenient. I am kind of a public figure at this point, so there's some confusion involved there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the idea that Christianity owns the name Matthew is that's like saying your name is Ethan, so you're attached to furniture making because of Ethan Allen. That's just what your name is. It doesn't have anything to do with what some other Ethan might be.
But I'm discussing the origins. We know that. Would you disagree that the origin of the word, the name Matthew, is from the Bible or from Christianity in particular?
No, yes. I would disagree that the name Matthew is from the Bible or Christianity in particular. And you know how I know? Because I've read the Bible, and there was a person who was named Matthew before Christianity. The name existed before your religion. You just fell into the dumbest logical trap. It can't be contingent on Christianity if the name of the apostle existed before Christianity.
When I was in seminary, they told me, I went to a seminary, I'm not a priest, I'm just a practicing member, but I talked to these people, and they told me that the Matthew was a Christian name, and perhaps they got it wrong. I mean,
instead of just going on what they told you, maybe you should think about it some more. Would you at least acknowledge that if the guy's name was Matthew before Jesus got to him, that clearly Matthew is not contingent on Christianity?
Yes.
So your first point is conceded then.
Okay, the last point I like to address then is the equality myth, by this myth of equality, whereas no individual, regardless of whether they're related or not, or gender or race, the individual itself, it seems that this equality myth